Hello, welcome to Nana's Bunker. This is a place where not everybody knows the exact factual answer of what should or should not be done. This is a place where we all learn together, we grow together, we prepare together. In this video, we're going to be learning about a little bit about EMPs, what they are, what they can do, just giving you a little bit of information on it and trying to curb any anxieties that people may have over it. EMPs can be survived, guys. They do not, that we know of, cause bodily harm as far as the actual EMP goes. What develops after the EMP strike, that's more along the lines of physical worries that you have to work through as far as like feeding yourself, how to, the water system, the just in general, guys, what you have to do to survive if an EMP strike was to hit us, and what you would do without electric or gas or water or a grocery store to run to grab fresh meat, that kind of stuff. So listen up about the EMPs and then we'll take it from there. We can survive. We can survive if we work together. Physical threats to the energy grid. Since day one, the grid has been vulnerable from a physical perspective. Storms knocking the grid offline is common news, but Forbes reported that solar storms, when explosions occur on the sun's surface and create solar flares from particles, pose an even bigger threat. When detonated, an EMP weapon produces a pulse of energy that creates a powerful electromagnetic field capable of short-circuiting a wide range of electric equipment, particularly computers, satellites, radios, radar receivers, and even civilian traffic lights. Can we survive an EMP attack? However, an EMP even can be survived, but you need to be adequately prepared because there may be little to no warning. Aside from the usual survival tips such as having food, water, and medical kits ready, functioning electronic devices will help you stay connected to what is going on. What happens if the U.S. power grid goes down? A power outage may disrupt communications, water, and transportation. Close retail businesses, grocery stores, gas stations, ATMs, banks, and other services. It can cause food spoilage and water contamination. Will solar panels work if the power grid goes down? Since a grid-tied solar system must turn off by National Electric Code, when the grid goes down, installing rooftop solar panels does not guarantee that you will have power during a grid outage. However, if you combine your solar system with battery storage, you can tap into stored solar power during a power failure. Now, how to protect electronics against an EMP, which is electromagnetic pulse. Modern electronics have become part of our daily lives, whether we like it or not. They make life easier, as long as they're working. You see, the more comfortable we become with electronics, the more we rely on technology, and the more vulnerable we get. It's not something many of us think about every day, but if an EMP went off, it could disrupt and destroy many electronic devices and technology. And then what? As 2020 has proved, just because an event is rare does not mean it won't ever happen. So maybe we'd be better off preparing for more rare events that could lead to disruption in our lives. On this episode, we're going to take a closer look at what an EMP is, what to be concerned about, and how you can prepare by protecting your most valuable electronics and from an EMP attack. What is an EMP? An electromagnetic pulse. EMP is a burst of electromagnetic radiation, creating energy that can easily damage and destroy your electronics and technological devices. EMPs are rapid, invisible, and often unpredictable bursts of energy produced by a nuclear detonation, powerful natural solar events, or EMP bombs, which can cause permanent or temporary loss of power. You can't do much about any of those, but you can ensure that electronic devices are EMP proof. So, how can you protect electronics from EMP? We recommend using the RF shielding technique, electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic shielding, where electromagnetic risks are mitigated and the electromagnetic field is effectively blocked with barriers and magnetic materials. There are many ways to create an EMP protection, which we'll get to further down. Does an EMP permanently destroy the electronics? An EMP attack can cause specific electronics, machinery, and generator controls to stop working temporarily or permanently. There are two things to consider, one being the device itself, the second being the power grid. Your device may work for a little while, but without power to recharge, it may as well be dead. Electronics will not be able to change from an on to off state. Data communicating with remote equipment might also be affected. From electronic devices like televisions to mobile phones and generators, an EMP could damage electronics or any device powered by electricity. The damage will vary depending on the severity of the power of the EMP, while small, handheld electronic devices may recover from the EMP attack. Still, systems connected to power lines like an electric power grid network or a landline might experience permanent component damage when exposed to EMPs. What electronics could survive an EMP? And an EMP generally attacks solid state electronics, so items functioning with an electronic circuit will stop working. The electrical grid would be directly affected, and it could take months to repair and get back to normal. Although an EMP can be quite scary, simple electronics without reliable state electronic controls will most likely survive an EMP attack. Let's take a look at some specific examples. Solar panels. Solar panels that are operating and wired up will certainly see some damage at the very least. A nuclear EMP will deliver some damage, or maybe not enough to kill the solar panel, but certainly reduce functionality and effectiveness. It should survive just as non-electric appliances. Appliances like a fireplace, solar oven, power tools, or generators won't be affected by an EMP. These non-electric appliances don't necessarily operate with solid-state electric controls and will probably still work when even after the EMP has blasted through your area. Manual appliances. Manual appliances are also effectively EMP proof. Make sure you have manual items in your home or at work to accomplish regular electric tasks. Can actually do a lot of cooking simply by using a hand-powered coffee percolator, pasta maker, manual mixer, can opener, or specific battery-powered devices. Vintage electronics. Most vintage electronic components don't use a solid-state grid. If your old radio or television uses vacuum tubes to operate, you're in luck. They laughed at you for your old TV, but who's laughing now? Right? Who's laughing now? Small portable electronics. File this in the maybe category. Small electronic appliances like mobile devices might survive an EMP attack primarily if they are housed in concrete buildings. However, it will depend on the location, severity, and type of the EMP. How do you protect electronics from an EMP attack? Not going to lie, an EMP attack is bad news both in the short term and in long term for civilization. However, an EMP even can be survived, but you need to be adequately prepared because there may be little to no warning. Aside from the usual survival tips such as having food, water, and medical kits ready, functioning electronic devices will help you stay connected to what is going on. So do what you can to keep all your electric devices and appliances up and running. There are a few ways to shield or protect your electronics, but make sure you always practice caution. Basic DIY EMP protection you can try at home. Don't have an EMP bag or case? That's unfortunate. But don't worry, here are some DIY tools that will help. Use tinfoil. A homemade Faraday cage, more on Faraday cages later, can be created by completely covering your electronics or appliances in tinfoil. Wrap the chosen device with a cloth, paper, or even non-conductive insulation and add about 3 layers of tinfoil with no visible gap. P.S. The shell should be well grounded for this method to properly work. Use a steel garbage can with a lid. You can line the can with cloth or cardboard so your electronics don't get affected by the EMP. Secure the lid with duct tape so it doesn't get knocked over easily. A metal roof or a solar paneled house. Houses with metal roofs or solar panels should provide some protection from an EMP, but it must be well grounded. Put devices in a microwave. Microwaves generally operate at the frequency of 2.45 gigahertz. They have built-in shielding that uses non-ionizing radiation, causing your food to absorb energy. Water molecules interact with each other, sending kinetic energy out as heat. The glass window of the microwave has small holes in a metal screen which can act as a Faraday cage, which keeps the energy inside the walls of the microwave. This protects you when you're heating food, but it will also work in reverse, providing some protection to electronics placed inside when an EMP attack occurs. To test the effectiveness, place your electronics or small appliances in your microwave turned off and check if you received a signal. Also, do not use the microwave with the devices inside. Well, I would hope not. The real solution, a Faraday cage. Named after its founder and 1800s scientist, Michael Faraday, a Faraday cage, bag, or case will help distribute electromagnetic radiation to the outer surface, ensuring that no charge ends up within the enclosure. It effectively acts as an EMP shield built to redirect power from the ground. Devices inside the cage will be protected from damaging current. Although there are many kits or templates for EMP-proof boxes available online, it might be worth investing in a professional cage. EMP shielding reduces the coupling of radio waves, electromagnetic fields, and electrostatic fields, all of which produce potential threats to electronic systems. EMP protection for your electronics or appliances is not so difficult that only government agencies can prepare. There's a good chance you'll never need the protection, but you have to ask yourself if you're the type of person willing to risk it. If not, whether it's a DIY solution or a professional EMP bag, make sure you take the necessary steps to protect yourself from devastating future events. And then this was a comment at the end of that, guys. It says, what good will it do to protect your electronic devices if the electric grid is fried? And if there is an EMP attack, what can you watch on that old TV if the TV stations are all out of commission and the power grid is shut down? Am I missing something? I agree. What good is all that going to do? But you have to remember, guys, just because an EMP, if it hits, okay, it may not be a very large one. It could just be affecting, like 1,000 miles out. It may not hit and knock out the grid for the whole entire United States. Therefore, if you have old transistor radios, old boob tubes, then you could still get news and updates and stuff from possibly, outside wherever the grid is knocked out. You never know. So it's always best to keep like one of those little transistor radios, light things that you crank. Keep one of those handy. I'm sure it won't mess with it. But the important thing is, guys, is for us to learn and, get prepared together. As I've said, and I'll keep saying, we can survive. We can. We need to work together. We need to learn together. But we can survive no matter what is thrown at us in this world. Whether it be, an EMP or an earthquake, a tornado, or evil in the world itself. As long as we work together and learn together, we will survive. This has been Nana's Bunker, and I'll see you on the next one.